A very good morning to everyone. I am Soumya Ramkrishna and I welcome you all to this event, Campus to Corporate. Tom Stoppard once said, "Look on every exit as being an entrance to somewhere else." As you all know, life is all about change. After we complete our studies, 4 years of studies of engineering, we won't only be graduating from our studies, but also from our student life as well, and moving on to a very different phase of our lives as corporate professionals. This will be a significant change in each and every student's life, but it won't be without its challenges. Luckily for us, our college has invited a very important guest who is renowned in the field of coaching and training professionals to help us effectively manage this change. Dr. Sanjay Varma. Dr. Sanjay Varma, a former Army colonel, has been with Reliance Industries for the last 10 years. He superannuated in April 2020 as Head Petrochemical Academy and is currently a consultant with Reliance Industries. He is also the co founder of Perfect Palette, a boutique training company with multi dimensional training programs. He has been felicitated with the recognition of 25 Most Influential Training and Development Professionals in February 2016 and 2019 by World HRD Congress. He has also worked in organizations like L&T, HCL Technologies, and Tata Power Distribution, and the Indian Army. He is a high energy HR professional, an executive coach, and a creative facilitator, skilled in guiding learners through engaging breakthrough learning opportunities. He is certified in instruments like DISC, Veblen, MBTI, and Harrison psychometric assessments. He is also certified coach by Results Coaching System Australia and Grow More Coach. He has been a master facilitator for Reliance and has been certified as a facilitator by SHRM, ISTD, CAMI, USA. In August 2018, he became a certified global cultural practitioner by Cultural Intelligence Center, USA. In August 2017, he authored his first book, Corporate Cocktail. In October 2018, he authored his second book and first novel, Catastrophe. He writes regularly on LinkedIn and is a visiting faculty to business schools. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our esteemed guest, Dr. Sanjay Varma, to address us. Welcome, sir, to this virtual forum.
Thank you. Thanks for the lovely introduction, and thanks for giving me an opportunity to, interact with younger minds, fresher students, and definitely share my perspective on how to plan the journey from campus to corporate. Let me bring my presentation on the screen. Is my presentation visible?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay,
visible.
great. So, folks, before I begin further, I wanted to start with a small incident which I have read somewhere, and some of you may have read it. It's about a senior executive who had graduated from Harvard, the top American university. He had picked up a job, and after 1 or 2 years of working, he decided to go for a holiday with his spouse. So they traveled to one of the remote Sicilian village in Greece. It was a small village, a fisherman's village. So they were staying in a nice hotel. And early in the morning, this gentleman went for a walk. He wanted to see the local surrounding, local people. So he saw, it was around maybe 8ish local time. And he saw a fisherman unloading his catch of the morning. Not much of fishes, but and he had stopped working. So once he took out his catch and he was putting them in order in his containers. So this gentleman walked up to him, greeted him, and said, "You have such a small catch today. What happened?" So the fisherman says, "No, the catch is adequate. In fact, every day he used to have this kind of a catch, and the catch was good to meet his requirement, his family's requirement." And then this gentleman asked him, "How do you spend your day?" He said, "I go in the morning to for a catch of the fish, like today. Now I'll take this and sell in the market, get the money, go home, have lunch, have a glass of beer, sleep. In the evening, go to the town. There's a club where we all fishermen we go. We go to the bar, we have a drink, we enjoy music, we dance, and I come back and I sleep. Sometime I also spend some time with my children, play with them, and this is what is the routine." He explained, and he said, "I'm very happy about it." So this Harvard graduate, he said, "Well, you're not utilizing your time. You're not looking at your productivity. You can do much more. Look at your potential." So the fisherman asked him, "What should I do?" So this Harvard graduate, he said, I'm an MBA from Harvard. I have learned a lot, and I will guide you. I'll help you to manage your affairs in a better manner." So this Harvard graduate told this fisherman that you should get up earlier, catch more fish, if required, do 2 trips. When you make more money, you can buy a bigger trawler and again increase your income. If required, do a fishing journey in the afternoon, also in the evening, so you can have again more fish. With that, you can increase the number of trawlers. Then you can hire people, and once you have more fish, you can eliminate middlemen. You can directly sell to the retailers fish to customer kind. You can get involved in the packaging. You can do the packaging of these fish, categorize into sea fish, means the prawn and that variety, and other fishes. Some are expensive fish, you'll get more money. So do your own packaging, then gradually open up your own company, and it continued. You have your own fishing farm, etc., etc. You can move to United States or even London, open up your company. Some point of time, your company grows. You can bring in an IPO. You can sell your stocks, and all this will. So this fisherman, and you can make more money, and blah blah blah. So the fisherman asked him, "Thank you. How much time is going to take all this? What you have explained?" He said, "Maybe 10 years, maybe 15, maybe 20, 25." He said, "What do you do thereafter?" So the fisherman said, "You tell me after 25 what will happen. 25 odd years." So this guy says, "Well, you can sell your stocks, you can make so much money, then you can retire in a small village in one of the Greek island, or you can come down to your own village. You can rest in the morning, you can enjoy afternoon nap, you can drink beer, you can play with your friends, you can play with your kids, grandkids, and you will have all the money. So this is the life you will get, a comfortable, enjoyable life." So the fisherman responded, "Well, I already have that life. What you're saying I'm going to have after 25 years. So what I'm trying to say is not a must that when you are beginning your career or beginning your journey of life, keep aiming for more money, and more money. While in your journey, you will make money, but ultimately, what you should be looking at is the happiness in life, how contented you can be, what you want to look for in your life, and where do you think you need to go. You should be the captain of your own ship. It should not become rudderless that you just move in any direction. Enough people in the corporate just continue working, keep slogging, and one fine day they realize that what they are doing or what they are after, they don't even know. So it is important to understand what is your own perspective, how you should move forward, you should evaluate, and where do you think you should be aiming for. With this as a backdrop, I am Dr. Sanjay Varma, and a little bit about me. Unlike you, I started my career with National Defense Academy at the age of 16, where I joined through UPSC, joined the fighting arms of Indian Army, got commissioned at 21, and have done operations in snow in border with Pakistan, in JNK, and other states within India. Have taken part in fighting terrorism and other actions. Did my PhD from Jamia when I was posted in Delhi. Started my career as head of security for Tata, and then gradually moved to the HR side and been in the learning and development field, training, teaching field for the last about 17 years. Authored my both the books, Corporate Cocktail, which gives you a good insight on the perspective on corporate. Good read for any of the fresher, available on Amazon. And of course, second one is on Army Life, The Catastrophe. Any fresher aspirations, as per me, should be looking at brand. I want to join brand Google, brand Reliance, any good brand of the organization. Second, you're looking for work culture, that I have a comfortable life, I get food, I get table tennis to play, any good thing. So that's the kind of a culture what you're looking in an organization. Third is every fresher is also keen on a career growth, that I should have a fixed career path. I should grow to so and so level. I should make so much money. And the last but not the least, the package is of utmost important to every fresher. The first thing people ask, what are the package which you have got? Which organization, which package? And then they correlate the rest. So whether it's a Microsoft or Coke or Canon or Gillette or Intel, well, each has their own standards, and each talks about their own culture. What does the company expect from a fresher? Let's have a look. Commitment. That this guy joins us, we spend money on his training, development. He should stay with us. Second is the person should be able to align to the value system of the organization as far as possible. The person should display right attitude, good confidence that he fits into the team. He should have the right knowledge, the expertise which is required. And if he doesn't have, he should be willing to develop that. Um, he should be having leadership skill and the people skill to function well in a team. And he should have that passion to work, that pride that he is working for so and so organization, the pride in his job, the passion in his job. So that is how will be the company expects every fresher, every new employee to contribute. So get ready for it. Transition is an ongoing process. It's not that after today's session you will be able to execute a transition. Any kind of a transition does give you a sense of achievement. You have done that. There could be certain anxiety. I don't know how the things are going to be. You will get a new environment, new way of working, new kind of discipline, the punctuality requirement, the need to attend every meetings, every event. Location could be different. You may be in the comfort of your college and home, but when you move to corporate, you may have to change locations. You may have to get into some unpopular locations. Let's say you're studying in Mumbai or a good, city. You may have to go to a small town, small town, maybe a tier two or tier three city. So new environment, new learning, new location. But what is good is you have a regular source of income. You're not dependent on your parents. You're not dependent on your scholarship or anything. So there is a regular source of income which is coming in your hand. You have a sense of freedom, and you have a freedom to utilize that money, whether you want to invest, whether you want to spend. Well, you have the freedom. Managing expectations and meeting up the goals, that will be one of the part of the transition process. You have to manage others' expectation, your own expectation, and there will be goals which are required to be set up. You need to meet that. Typically, I always advise people, the youngster, to follow 6 horse model. And what are the 6 horse model? It is honesty, it is humbleness. When you talk about humility, I read a book, Good to Great, by Tim Collins, and how he distinguishes between good company and the great company is The humility on the part of the CEO, one of the key factors. Are the CEOs humble? Are they willing to give credit to the subordinates and not do only project themselves? Then the next comes with the health. A sound health is absolutely required. Your hunger to learn, your hunger to do things, that hard work which you need to showcase. And of course, the human values are six important components for you to undergo your transition process. Believe you me, if you follow these six horses, things will work always in your favor. Strategies one needs to follow. What could be some of them? Develop the right attitude. It is always recommended that you start with a positive note. Have that right attitude. Things will work well for you. Don't have such a high expectations that you start feeling frustrated. So limit your own expectations. Of course, dream big, but limit your expectation. The first impression is very important. You never get a second chance to create a good first impression. So that's the reason. Whether it's your parents, whether it's your grooming, whether the way is your conduct or your confidence, work on them. Wherever you go, the first impression what you create should be an everlasting impression. Build cordial relationships with your colleagues, with your seniors, with your stakeholders. These are important because such relationship will take you further in your life. Be a good follower. You will come across a lot of leaders, a lot of good managers. You need to pick up good things from them. That is how you will be able to shape up yourself. Uh, every organization will have a culture, whether you join Google or you join Reliance or join Aditya Birla or Tata Group. They all have their own culture. You have to get into their culture net. You have to align to the company's culture. That is how you'll become a good employee. Develop a work savvy approach. We all work, but it should be output savvy, should be aligned to your goal. So the approach is very, very important. It's not only hard work, it has to be a smart work. Build an organizational savvy attitude. So the attitude should be that you have to align to the organization, their goals, their needs, their vision, their mission. That is how you will be productive and you will be contributing. And finally, as fresher, always exhibit professionalism. It is important to understand what does the profession need and how you can showcase that. So these are some of the strategies suggested to you, which you can think over. Certain challenges for the new hires: job fit, organization culture. You may just not like it, or it may not work as per your requirement. Corporate life. You're used to a college life of attending few classes you skip, whatever you do. But a corporate life will be more planned, more structured. Team differences. With your friends, things work out much better, although there will be difference of opinion. In a team scenario, there will be seniors, there will be juniors, there will be certain contemporaries, and they're bound to be difference. No two people think alike, so there is bound to be a conflict and difference. At times, you will feel that you're not included. Your viewpoints are not included. The organization doesn't have an inclusive culture. Although every organization today takes care of diversity and inclusiveness, but still this could be lacking and could be a challenge at your end. Location could be a challenge. You may be studying in Mumbai, or and tomorrow if you get a job in let's say small city of Tamil Nadu or a small city of Andhra Pradesh. So you're not very comfortable. Language could be a barrier, food could be a barrier, culture could be a barrier. So, and your preference is that I should join in Mumbai, where my parents, where my friends are. It doesn't happen. It could be a challenge. Long working hours. You're used to studying, 2 hours and then taking a break for 2 hours, sleeping for some time, 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Corporate may not have. Corporate, you may have 10 to 12 hours of working. Although it is said about 9 and a half is these days we work for 5 days a week, but if required, it can be extended because that's the need of the business. Peer pressure is always there. Somebody is doing well, you are not doing well. Somebody has come in the limelight, etc., etc., and a lot of things related to peer or even other stakeholders. Superior expectations could be high based on your profile, based on the team you have joined in, and they expect you to perform, and you are not able to meet the requirement. So you feel it's a challenge. Politics everywhere in our country. Today, you see what happens between the farmer and the government, or anywhere. It's all politics. So there is a politics everywhere. A little bit will be there in corporate. Don't get involved with it. As long as a good employee, you focus on your work and don't get involved in politics, things will work out better for you. And last but not the least, a work-life balance could be a challenge, especially in the initial years when you may be working for a little longer hours if required, based on your team, based on the job profile you have, and you may want be wanting to play a football, or let's say a game of badminton or a hockey or a cricket. But in a college, you could skip a class, or you could take a leave and you could do it. But in a corporate life, that may not be possible. Although there are opportunities these days on your weekend, Saturday, Sunday, every company also has a cricket match. They go for a football match, etc. And younger employees are encouraged to play. A lot of facilities are created within the corporate offices, things like your carom board, table tennis, etc., or gym where people play and people have fun and frolic. So there are some of the challenges. There could be certain challenges for the corporate. Job fit. You have been hired, but you do not fit in the job. Culture fit. You have been hired, but you are not a culture fit for the organization. You are not adaptable. You have certain fixed ideas. Retention issue. A lot of young GTs or young engineers, the moment they join the organization, they start looking for a higher education of MTech and MBA, and then some wants to do something else. Somebody wants to go to US, and you basically join an organization for some time to have a landing, to have some salary, to have some safety, and then the moment there's opportunity, people want to leave. The people want to change jobs today at much faster pace vis-a-vis 2 decades ago or 1 decade ago. So that's a challenge for the corporate. A lot of people who join, they leave within first year, second year, etc. Monetary satisfaction. Today, the younger generation needs more money. Corporate may not be able to pay, or their entry level may be such. So that could be a challenge to meet the aspiration of the younger generation. A lot of people have unrealistic expectation from a job. I will do this. I could do this. I should get this. It doesn't happen in a corporate. Engaging employees is a big challenge these days. So a lot of employee engagement activities are held, but still, because every corporate looks forward to productivity of the employee, they want employees to be part of the family, and that at times there is a gap, and that's the reason employee engagement takes a really important, it's an important activity for the HR, for the human resource department, and people focus a lot on these. Making job interesting is another challenge. You may have certain skill set, you may have certain interest, but what happens? Everyone doesn't get a job of his choice, of his interest. You may get a job, but you may not like it. You may say, I don't like the job, I don't enjoy the job. Well, my first advice will be, whatever job you have picked up or the career you join, it is by choice you are joining. You may be wanting to become a fighter pilot or join army or do something else, but unfortunately, you have joined an engineering college, and tomorrow you decide to work for a corporate. Then focus on what you have. There's a saying: one in hand is better than two in a bush. So whatever job is in your hand, try and develop a passion for it. Try and develop an interest. Get motivated to do it. If you perform well, you can rise. You can become Indra Nui. You can become any of the CEO. It is just that you need to grow. You need to put in your best, and you need to perform. So while the challenge for the corporate is to make every job interesting, it may not be possible. But if you manage your job well, if you start liking your job, and start taking interest, maybe you will start enjoying your job, and that will increase your productivity. Certain preparations at the student level, you all are fresher, so I thought I'll add a slide on this here. Work on realistic expectations. Change the belief that degree will get me a job. First piece of caution: your degree, your performance may help you, but may not get you a job. So you need skill set. And what skill set are required is I have covered in passing reference and I will be covering again in due course. Focus on those areas, the piece of communication, the piece of working in a team, how work on your oratory skills, your written skills, because you need to be a good communicator. And that is the reason focus on certain job focused approaches in life, what you need to do, what kind of job you are looking forward to, what kind of a career you are looking forward to. See what is required in this career and work on it. You are just joining your first year, it'll be good to you get a good opportunity to work for next 4 years on yourself. During campus, work on your skills, work on your attitude. Knowledge everybody will do. You'll read books, you'll pass exams, but I don't think you are being taught how to improve your attitude or certain skill set. Identify what is required for you and work on them. Go through certain case studies of industry, certain happenings, certain news of the industry, and it will help you how you should align. Especially pandemic, what happened, how people lost jobs, what skill set the people never lost jobs, and how post pandemic or now once the economy is opening up, how people are getting hired. So all these are important for you to do. From a corporate perspective, preparation, frequent learning, development programs. You also get an opportunity once you join corporates. There will be reward and recognition, which is done just to promote learning, maintain transparency, etc. So that is some of the basic preparation you could do as a student at the campus, and of course the corporate will do when their turn comes. Remember, you are riding a wave of change because anything I talked about is nothing but managing the process of change. So if you're not riding the wave of change, you will finding yourself beneath it. Imagine, I'm sure most of you would have gone to a beach, and even if you have not gone to a beach, imagine that you are in a water and you are facing a wave. When you face the wave, you will find you will get pushed, and at times the wave is strong, the resistance is tough. But when you ride the wave, you move along with the wave and you enjoy and have fun. So that's what the change says: ride the wave of change and enjoy it. Certain quick corporate lessons, they are more from a fun perspective, but they have a lot of lessons. And that is how will help you to survive change. The first one is a crow was sitting on a tree doing nothing at all whole day. A small rabbit saw the crow, asked him, "Can I also sit like you and do nothing all the day long?" The crow answered, "Sure, why not?" The rabbit sat together on the ground below the crow and rested. All of a sudden, a fox appeared and ate it, pounced on it and ate it. So, what the lesson we have? Moral of the story: to be sitting and doing nothing, you must be sitting very, very high up in a corporate scenario. So, the point is, as a fresher, when you join, you need to work, put in your effort. Lesson number two: a turkey was chatting with a bull. Turkey is a kind of a chicken in US and the Western countries. It's a little bigger than the, and normally, when they have Thanksgiving, the turkey is definitely there on the table. So turkey was chatting with the bull. They addressed turkey as a he. "I would love to be able to get to the top of the tree," sighed the turkey, "but I haven't got the energy." "Well, why don't you nibble on some of my droppings?" replied the bull. "They are packed with nutrients, like all the grains, etc., what they eat." The turkey pecked at the lump of the dung, found that it actually gave him enough strength to reach the first branch of the tree. Next day, after eating more dung, he reached the second branch. Finally, after a fortnight, he was proudly perched at the top of the tree. Soon, the turkey was spotted by a farmer who promptly shot the turkey out of the tree. So, what is the lesson? Bullshit might get you on the top, but it won't keep you there for long. Looking at the third corporate lesson, a little bird was flying south for winter. A lot of migratory birds that fly from east to west to east, so north to south. So this bird was flying south from south. It was cold, bird froze and fell to the ground in a large field. As the luck would have it, while it was lying there, a cow came by, dropped some of the dung on it. As the frozen bird lay there in the pile of cow dung, it began to realize how warm it was. The dung was actually thawing him out. You could see the music here. He lay there all warm and happy and soon began to sing for joy. A passing cat heard the bird singing, came to investigate, promptly dug the bird under the pile of the cow dung and ate it. Moral of the story: not everyone who drops shit on you is your enemy. Not everyone who gets you out of shit is your friend. And when you are in deep shit, keep your mouth shut. That's the free, fun corporate lessons, but a lot of value. How do we understand change? Well, there's a famous quote of, I'll cover the quote. First, you need to understand that change can begin everywhere. Everyone is responsible for making a change. Critical skill is learning how to learn and how to unlearn if required. Change is both toxic and tonic. To some, it will be toxic because they are naysayers, they're not liking it. So the guys who enjoy change, it will be a tonic. It will boost your health. Change challenges people in power, and change will always be make you at times discomfort. There's something called boiling frog phenomenon. I don't know if you have noticed. If you put a frog in a boiling water or a hot water, the frog jumps out. But you put a frog in a room temperature water, the frog starts swimming. And then you start heating the water gradually, the frog does not move out. It keeps getting adjusted to the rising temperature of water. There's a point that a frog, when the water becomes so hot, gets boiled along with the water, but it still continues. So what I'm trying to say, any abrupt change, like a frog, a person moves out. But there's a gradual change, a graduated manner, it is more acceptable and more conducive. So whether it's your individual change, don't go for a sudden, try and build a graduated change. What Mahatma Gandhi has said, you must be the change you wish to see in the world. And we need to really work on this. Whatever change we want to see, whether we want a corruption free society, we want to do this, we want everything to be done well, or you say, I want a litter free, no garbage. Well, are you contributing to it? That's important. Second, I remember another quote of Mahatma Gandhi when he says, live as if you were to die tomorrow and learn as if you were to live forever. Now, that's again very much relevant from a change perspective, how we should build our learning curve, how we should gain more knowledge. And more knowledge doesn't mean just the knowledge of engineering field, which you have joined in, but it's an overall holistic knowledge. That's how you'll be able to build your own caliber. John Cotter is one of the founder father of change model. There are two good models of change, Cotter and Prosky. So I'm just talking about an interesting model called Cotter model. He talks about 8 critical stages for a change. And I don't want to get involved in detail, but I'll just cover it for you. He's also written a very nice book to read, and that book is How Our Iceberg Is Melting. So he's talked about emperor penguins and how the iceberg melts and how they see the life of a seagull, how they bring the change, the attitudinal change, and how they move. So nice, interesting book. Once upon a time, there were some, emperor penguins in Antarctica, about 268, and they had lived in the iceberg for a year. They just didn't want to move. It was their heaven. It was home. But ultimately, when icebergs started melting, other day you heard about Nanda Devi iceberg breaking and how the flash floods came in Uttaranchal, Uttarakhand. So it is very, very important to understand that change is required. We have to get out of comfort zone, get into the courage zone. And that's what happened with the penguin. So Cotter has talked about, even in this book, his 8-step process for successful change, more applicable for organization perspective, for every organization. Anyone who wants to bring a change, whether it's a college or any corporate, they should look for, first thing is create a need for a change, a sense of urgency. Second is pull together a guiding team, a team which can work on it, which can guide people, develop some change vision, what you're looking at, or change some kind of a strategy. Then fourth he talks about is communicate this vision for to everyone and try and get maximum buy-in. Then empower people, smaller teams who can take charge, produce some short-term wins so that people feel happy and they feel involved. Don't give up, even if there are temporary setbacks. And finally, once change is created, create a new culture and keep evaluating. There is nothing known as a permanent change. Whatever changes today, things will change further. You're seeing in our own country, you're seeing in our education system, you're seeing in everything. So there is a change, and there's bound to be more and more change. An expression, if things didn't change, and yet if nothing ever changed, there would be no butterflies. All these insects, etc., get evolved over a period of time. An expression. I don't know how many of you still are aware that way back in 1945, at the time of World War II, the Americans dropped two atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. This is the aircraft actually which was used for bombing. The pilot did not know that he was carrying an atom bomb inside. It was just the American president, secretary of state, and the head of defense. They knew it. What's the story? What happened to the radiation? People felt that next couple of centuries, the people in Japan will be deformed. The entire two cities were devastated. Other day, I met someone who was a Nobel laureate from Japan and who was in Hiroshima at this time. And just before bombing, or 2 days before bombing, he had moved to his native, grandparents' place, and he survived. He had moved along with his mother. He was barely about 4 or 5 years old then, and he along and his mother survived. He lost his all brothers, sisters, and his father, who continued to stay in Hiroshima. So after the bombing, the Hiroshima was totally devastated, nothing left. But look at about 70 years later, this is a picture of Hiroshima, how the thing has changed, how they have developed. It is one of the most developed city, much better than any of the American city. So that's what we're trying to say. Change with effort, things work out best. I'm sure you would have heard about the journey of eagle. Eagle lives around 70 odd years, but somewhere in mid journey, around 30-35 years, when he'll, um, beaks become heavy, the feathers are very heavy, the body becomes heavy. So what he does is goes to a place on the mountain, plucks the feather, blunts the beak, his claws, starts sharpening them, and lives a life, this life for almost couple of months, and then gradually it's a kind of a rebirth. And then eagle lives for another 30-35 years. So it's nothing but a process of change. I urge you to watch videos on this eagle rebirth. It is very nice, and it will help you to adapt to a change in a much faster and better manner. Another book by Spencer Johnson, Who Moved My Cheese. I'm sure most of you would have read it. It's a book of change. It's a book of two rats and two human beings. What is cheese here is a metaphor. Cheese could be your comfortable job. It could be a house. It could be the car which you want to buy. It could be your family. So anything where you have a comfort zone or where you are feel nice about it is a cheese. So it's a metaphor for what we want in our life. Book talks about four little characters: two rats, Sniff and Scurry, and two human beings, Hem and Haw. What the book highlights is the rats take the lead, and they always are in search for the new cheese because the cheese starts finishing in a cheese station. Hem and Haw, the human beings, are lazy, and they think that wherever they are there in the cheese station, the cheese will continue throughout their life, but it doesn't happen. Ultimately, when the cheese starts finishing, they have to follow the rats, and finally, they say, "Who moved my cheese?" And they move to the each move keeps moving to the next cheese station. Interesting book. Another very interesting to understand perspective. The cost of the book is just about 80 bucks or 100 bucks. Interesting read. So now that you will be on a corporate journey, so once on board, take care of your following qualities. Take care of your attitude. Very, very important. And I'm going to cover it a little more for you. Take care of your behavior part because people will be watching you, keeping a track on you. You have to have a culture fit. Then only you will prosper and you will progress. Corporates expect you to have good communication, good speaking skills, good listening skills. Please work on them. You may get a coach, somebody will coach you, somebody will mentor you. Both are important. Pick up right people, and you should hope you may have a choice. If you don't have a choice, try and pick up the best from them. Or discipline is what is required in a corporate, the way you dress up, what you need to do. In a college, you can go in a pair of jeans and sandals, but it doesn't work in a corporate. So there will be proper dressing up timings. If a meeting has to start at 9, you need to be there 5 minutes before 9. Ethics are important, your honesty, your ethical values, and it'll help, it'll be the guiding principle for your decision making in a corporate. Etiquettes will be of a lot of importance, and we have etiquettes, almost about 24 kinds of etiquette. It's a subject in itself. The way you use a washroom, there has to be an etiquette. The way you walk, the way you dress up, the way you eat in a cafeteria, the way you do your grooming, the way you shake hand, the way you give your business card, the way you interact with a customer, the way you attend a meeting or conduct yourself in a meeting. All these, there are etiquette. The way you communicate, or the way you speak on a phone or in a mobile. So you need to be conversant with all kind of etiquette. It's a subject. I'm sure your college will work on it and will guide you on picking up these etiquettes. Education is very, very important, and you will need to have the right knowledge and right degree. You need to set up goals because without goals, we are just moving in any direction. Mentorship is something I already covered, and be clear that you have to function in team. And team is nothing but together everyone achieves more. Certain inputs on personal effectiveness, how you can be effective in your life. So at work, so it means making most of all personal resource as our disposal. So like your talent, your energy, your interest, your time, what is most important, and making your job or work effective. Certain set of behaviors, taking initiative. So stand out. Stephen Covey has written a book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Very interesting. I'm sure you all would have read or must be reading it. If not, this is important. Read this book. And the seven habits are very important. The first one, be proactive. Plan things for yourself in your life. It's like catching a flight. Begin with an end in mind. Always have that goal. Unless you are clear, you will not be able to reach anywhere. Put first thing first. So you have to have an entire process. Ultimately, what is a priority you need to lay down. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most of us are poor in listening. They're good in speaking. Here, the Stephen Covey talks about listening skills. First, listen to others, then try and put across your point. Synergy is very important in any functioning in a team, and in order to make you effective, uh, they say sharpen the saw. It becomes very, very important that you keep polishing your skills at a regular interval. Otherwise, you will not be able to do your job in a proficient manner. Self development is important. We gain confidence when the skill and the knowledge grows, and we need to work on itself. Identify what are the gaps in your skill set, what you want to pick up. Let's say Excel or PowerPoint, which is something what you want to pick up. There are enough repository of knowledge available. There are certifications available. Work on it and try and get proficient. Think about your work as more than a job, something I have said earlier also, and that will happen with attitude, enthusiasm, and energy. Very, very important. When you are in a team, you will not be working individually, you will be one of the gear. And multiple gears, when they synergize, you will find the drive comes. You all have been driving car, so there the car has a network of gears, and these all gears move together in a synchro mesh manner, and that is how the drive gets passed onto the wheels. Think of excellence. When you think of excellence, remember the famous pole vaulter Sergei Bubka, who broke his own world record 24 times. Or Nadia Comaneci, the famous Romanian gymnast who got perfect 10 for the first time in Olympics in all five events. She got five golds. So you have to look for that kind of an excellence. Excellence. So doesn't it feel great to have, throughout the day with challenging ourselves, learning new things, going for an excellence, building a mark for yourself. Go beyond minimum effort. A college you can survive with a minimum effort, not in a corporate, because people will need to see you really moving and putting your best. What to say or not, be very clear. So we do not recommend inappropriate language, things like I swear on my mother or anything. It doesn't work well in the corporate sector. Don't complain, don't argue too much. Everybody has their own life and they enjoy and they work on it. Too much of a little bit on personal problem with your manager is still fine, but do not talk about personal problem, your financial stress or any problem or family problem. It doesn't augur well for you if you're there in a corporate setup. It is always recommended that you avoid discussing such things. And similarly, when you come home, you do not carry those office problems. It is recommended say no to politics. How much you can avoid it is your call, but don't talk politics, don't talk religion. And I also say for the men folk, do not talk women. Three things. If you are able to avoid it, it is fantastic. In your friends, you can talk about it, but when you feel something is building, at times people, because of social media interactions, people start having a tough time dealing with each other, then avoid it. In a corporate setup, in any case, politics and religion in an official time should not be discussed. What to do or not, so look and act professional. You are wanting to move in a professional space, so you have to look and act professionally. You have to dress up like a professional. You need to conduct like a professional. You need to have a set of behaviors the way the professionals do. Be professional by meeting commitments, respecting your responsibilities to others, to yourself. That smiling face, shaking hands, the dress up, the grooming, the discipline, all these make you better professional. I always say avoid all work and no play. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, something what we have always learned as a child. Corporate gives you an opportunity to have fun. So have fun at work at some time. Let people know you can handle difficult situation with a level head. So a little fun, little get together, a cup of tea, coffee, etc. will always be there to support you, and organization always support such engagements too. Create growth opportunity. You cannot be craving that somebody has not given you an opportunity to grow. You have to create your own opportunities by upskilling, by knowing what is the future skill. If machine learning is the future skill, or if big data is the future skill, it should be part of your curriculum. You have to work on it, and you have to try and build that capability. So create growth opportunity for yourself. Build relationship with your managers, with your people, with your environment, with your colleagues, or learn from your mistakes. I will also say learn from others' mistakes. Intelligent people learn from other mistakes. Fools learn from their own mistakes. So you don't need to create a mistake. If you have somebody has made it, you are get to know. You can work on it. And most important part is you have to be flexible. You cannot have that feeling, this is not my job. I don't want to do that. Well, is your job or not job? If there is an opportunity, treat it as an opportunity to learn, because something new you are learning, which is going to help you in your life. And as long as you are open to learning, you will find you are creating growth opportunity for yourself. Very important to set goals. Why? Because you have a target. And unless you have a target, you don't know. But when you set goals, try and put a filter called SMART. And what is SMART? S is specific. You have to drill down to specific goals which can be measured, which can be attained, which is realistic, and finally which can be put in a timeline. So that's what is the connotation of smart. To give an example, let's say you want to do MTech after your BTech. So you have to be clear that you want to do MTech in what subject. You are a mechanical engineer, but you may like to do an MTech in industrial engineering. So you have to have that clarity. You want to finish. When do you want to start? When you want to finish? And so that's the kind you have to come out. Any goals which you set for yourself, put it through a smart filter. It'll be easy to monitor that. Etiquettes at works are very important. I covered it in passing reference. So when you meet someone, shake hands, look into the eyes, have a good posture, etc. You're dressing up, you're grooming, and as I said, there are almost 20, 20 plus, 24 types of etiquette. You have to be conversant with most of them. The way you hold fork and knife in a formal dinner, or the way you eat in a cafeteria, the way you talk on telephone, the way you talk to your customer, the way you dress up, all these are etiquette. And you have to be familiar with this. Or your physical and verbal behavior is a part of etiquette. Your posture, your gesture, all these are very, very important. The way you sit in a corporate scenario, sit up straight, your appearance, take care of it. Watch your appearance by being well groomed, fresh bath, trimmed, combed, etc., well dressed. All these are important. Your tucked in shirt, clean shoes, matching socks, no sports shoes, but and no pair of jeans, etc. Be mature by behaving like a reliable grown up. It's very, very important. Keep your noise to yourself. Very important. Whether you're in a meeting room, you're on a call, or you're on your mobile, look at that. You should not be disturbing people. Speaker phones only when you are sitting in a conference room. Otherwise, in a public area, is not recommended. Your ring, etc. Do not let it go. Pick up a call within 2 to 3 rings. Don't talk loudly across partitions. Soft speaking, especially in a corporate environment. Keep cell phones ringers low. If required, put it on a silent mode. Keep your germs to yourself. Basic. So things like when you sneeze, cough, have a handkerchief. Take care of that. You do not create problems for others. Communication. Always speak with confidence. As I said, listening and speaking skills are most important in a corporate scenario. Maximum is listening skills from a communication perspective. Analyze and utilize right body language to your own advantage. Your facial expression, your gestures, your eye contact, all these are important. You need to manage your time. You need to really manage your time. And if you're able to do that, things work well. How do you do that? Remember, it's not a myth. You need to prioritize. You need to know where you are wasting time and take care of that. Um, if required, and if you have something which can be delegated at a buddy level, etc., or you can collaborate, do that. That is how you will be able to manage your life. At times in a corporate, you may get stress, but stress is something which all can avoid. So avoid people who give you stress or stress you out. Avoid hot button topics, at time politics, religion, pay package, anything which can create stress for you. Pare down your to-do list. Don't try and achieve too much. So to-do list for a day should have something which you can achieve. You should not get stressed for it. So stress is something what we all can manage. There is bound to be conflict in your life, whether in personal or professional life, because no two people think alike. All your five fingers are not of the same size. So one of the good way to handle this is listen first, then talk second. Keep people and problems separate. You may not like someone, but you have to work with someone, so conflict should not come. Have that right attitude. Attitude becomes one of the most important factor for all of us in a corporate life. It is said always keep a positive attitude because positive attitude, positive thinking will keep your day positive. It will give you a absolutely positive outlook. Talk nicely to people. Be nice. Be a good human being. If you have these perspectives clearly defined for yourself, things will work out much better for you. We all enjoy a soft drink or a drink, and we all have put an ice. You would have noticed that majority of the ice is below the fluid line. So typically, as an iceberg, the recent iceberg which also broke in Uttaranchal, from Nanda Navy. So anywhere you see, I'm sure you would have watched the movie Titanic. Now in Titanic also, the ship top part was actually away from the iceberg top, but the bottom of the ship, which is called hull, and the bottom of the iceberg had touched, and that is how the water started seeping in from the bottom of the ship, Titanic. So, in any case, that's a very good movie to watch. If you've not watched, it's a romantic movie. So you will see this iceberg phenomenon in Titanic also happening when the ship strikes an iceberg. So, what is an iceberg, and how much do you see in an iceberg? Just take a look at this. That's the kind of a shape you get in an iceberg. Look at how much of the area below water. So typically, what is visible is about 10 to 15%. Rest 85 to 90% is below sea level. Now, when you go to for an interview, what the interviewer sees in you is your knowledge and the skill, maybe a degree. But he also may be assessing you using certain instruments like 16 PF or MBTI on your attitude, on how you react to certain situations, what has been your response. So attitude becomes very, very important in our life. We need to take care of it. Attitude talks about your value system, your standards, your judgments, your motives, your belief system, your thinking pattern, your ethics, what you have picked up from your parents, from your society, from your grandparents, from your schools, from your teachers, from your professors. And they shape up your life. Whether you are positive, whether you are negative, or whether you have a set of values, or whether you don't have a set of values, whether you want to be a corrupt or whether you want to be an honest. All these is what you can pick up from your initial years. When a baby is born, everybody is neutral. But over a period of time, people develop their own attitude, own standards, own judgment, own impressions, own belief system, own ethics. And that is how it impacts your behavior. I recollect having, as an army officer, having caught a couple of terrorists, and when we did interrogate them, a lot of value system emerged. Those people were diehard, and they were very clear that whatever they are there doing is what is the command given to them. They were more like human robots. They just didn't know how to figure out the difference. And even in our Mumbai blast, Taj incident where the terrorists came from Pakistan and Kasab, etc., what you would have read, they were basically human bombs. They were human robots. They were fed and they continue. So belief system was very difficult to change. But mind you, if you really work on yourself, you can change your attitude. You can change your life. If you're able to change your attitude, practically you change your life. Very, very important component. Important subject needs to be taught in every school and every college. So we need to develop right attitude. Somebody said, why? And the response is because attitude constitute 85% of the reason why a person gets a job, keeps it, and moves ahead in life. If he doesn't have the right attitude, he doesn't move. Only 15% is due to specific skill, whether it's your degree, it's your knowledge, etc., will constitute 15%. The rest 85% will be attitude, your belief system, and other soft skill factors. Guys, remember to watch your definitions. They become your thoughts. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. And watch your actions. They become your destiny. With this, I come to an end on my presentation. I was given 1 hour and I thought I've just finished in 1 hour. And I'm available for any questions, any answer, any queries, anyone. Thank you. Anyone having any questions, anything you want to ask, feel free to ask. I can take
Thank you
another.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful address, as it would certainly pave the right path ahead in our journey of the campus to the corporate world. The tips and guidance provided today will lead to a change in all our perspective towards engineering. Now, I'm sure that many students have doubts related to this transition in our lives. So, with your permission, we will start with the question and answer session.
Thank you. Sure.
Okay, now everyone can start asking their questions one by one. Okay, Swara Patil has a question. While working in a corporate job, how do we come to know that we are becoming someone else and losing who we actually are?
Right. Thank you. Nice question. Firstly, it's up to you to remain who you are. You never become someone else. But yes, you need to adapt. You need to adapt to the culture. But you can retain your originality, something which I did when I came to the corporate. It is quite possible you can look at your own ISP, your own qualities, what you have built up, but you can add on to your qualities. If certain things is of interest to you, you can still pursue. Let's say you're interested in cycling or any expedition. There has been a guy from Reliance who climbed Mount Everest, which he always wanted to do. So he continued on practicing. So it is quite possible to pursue your own career or your own interests and the career both concurrently. But yes, corporate will have certain skill set requirement which you need to align. Hope I'm able to answer this.
Okay, now the next question is by SM. How to be disciplined?
Very important question. It's a resolve. You take a call on yourself that I want to be disciplined, something what one picks up. So chart out what is your definition of discipline. To my way of looking at it, the first thing I'll put in a discipline in punctuality. Second is I'll try and put a routine life as far as possible. Third is a discipline that whatever is expected out of you, you need to do that, aligned into goals, certain tasks which is assigned, and you can practice right from your college. Every sessions you attend in time, every session you reach there in time. You work on yourself. All your tasks you do well. That's what is discipline. You sleep, in a planned manner. Do whatever is permitted. Do not break rules, but try and align to rules as far as possible. That will be a disciplined life.
Now, Darshan Mahankar has a question. So, what's your idea about Grow More?
Come again, please.
What's your idea about Grow More?
Grow more. So I don't know what he's meaning by grow more. Grow more is one of the organization today in India which is into executive coaching, where I am also certified. If you are meaning something to do with grow more, that's a coaching piece. But in case you are looking at your own growth, well, you have to carve out your journey. And if you've seen one of the slide I showed, when you are on boarded in a corporate, if you really want to grow in your life, you have to look at your attitude, your knowledge, your skill set, your competency, and your communication skills, etc. Being a better professional, upgrading your skill set, aligning to your futuristic skill. So that is what the growth you're looking at. Have a coach or a mentor who can guide you. And Grow More is one such agency which helps senior employees to become executive coaches and then further help out people. So that's a profession of coaching, executive coaching, which I am also into it. And we work and coach people, align them to achieving their task or goal in life.
Think now Neenad Rajpurkar. She said, "Thank you, sir, for fully clearing her thoughts on job and future perspective questions."
Thank you.
Okay, then any more questions? No one? Okay, then. Okay, then. In the words of Frederick W. Robertson, instruction ends in the classroom, but education ends with life. Respected sir, ma'am, and dear friends, like all good things, this session too has now come to an end. Now it's time to express our gratitude to our esteemed guest, Dr. Sanjay. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful guidance. My sincere thanks to our principal and professors for giving us this wonderful opportunity. I also thank the technical team for their support in live streaming. And last but not the least, thanks a ton to our audience, without whom the event would not have been possible. Thanks a lot once again, everyone present today. See you all together for yet another rocking performance of our very own FE students in FE's Got Talent at 2 p.m.